jangling man is coming.
In this video, we're counting down the top 10 scariest horror movies on Netflix. For more films and show recommendations, check out the description below. Before we get started, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Apostle. The Apostle is a unique horror thriller on Netflix that blends supernatural elements with cult-like themes. Directed by Gareth Evans, best known for his action-packed film, The Raid, it follows Thomas, who embarks on a dangerous journey to rescue his sister from a sinister cult on a remote island. The movie delivers stunning visuals, an intense atmosphere, and great performances from the cast. The film starts as a slow-burn thriller, but quickly turns into a gory and shocking story filled with twists and violent surprises.
But inwardly they are ravening wolves. Let us begin.
Evans pushes boundaries with brutal scenes and a chaotic plot that keeps you on edge. If you enjoy dark, eerie horror with a mix of mystery and suspense, The Apostle could be worth your time. Blood Red Sky.
But Johnny, she wants to get away from the sun. Let's give her some.
Number 10. Blood Red Sky is a surprising blend of horror and action. Set aboard a plane, the story follows Nadia, a German widow who boards a flight to New York with her son, Elias, for leukemia treatment. Their journey quickly turns into a nightmare when terrorists hijack the plane. Nadia, who is secretly a vampire, is forced to reveal her dark side to protect her son. While the story starts off slow, it soon builds into a wild, bloody twist. Combining vampires and terrorists, the movie delivers plenty of gore and intense moments, making it a thrilling watch for horror fans.
Hast du Blut getrunken?
It's the only way to stop them.
Though the plot isn't the most original, the makeup effects, emotional depth of the mother-son relationship, and strong performances make it worth watching. If you enjoy movies like From Dusk Till Dawn or 30 Days of Night, this one will definitely entertain you. Ouija, Origin of Evil.
Good night, Romeo.
Next on our list, Ouija, Origin of Evil from Mike Flanagan. Surprisingly, this prequel turned out way better than expected. Set in 1967, it follows a widowed mother and her two daughters who run a phony spiritual business, claiming they can communicate with the dead. But things take a dark twist when they bring a Ouija board into their act, and real supernatural forces take control of the youngest daughter, Doris. This film is actually a prequel to the 2014 movie Ouija, which we've covered before.
It fills your lungs and your throat and all the way behind your eyes. And the last thing you feel.
It's a great pick for Halloween. Classic horror vibes all the way through. Lulu Wilson, who plays Doris, gives an incredible performance. The film isn't over the top at all, keeping things small scale but effective. If you're into possession movies and prefer ones without the gore, this is definitely one to check out. The Ritual.
What the fuck is that? Fucking hell, we don't know where we are!
The Ritual is one of Netflix's top creature feature horror films, directed by David Bruckner, known for 2022 Hellraiser and 2020 The Night House. The story follows old friends, Phil, Dom, Hutch, and Luke, who reunite after the tragic death of their friend Rob. They take a hiking trip in northern Sweden to honor him, but a shortcut through a mysterious forest filled with Norse legends leads them into danger. as a deadly evil stalks them. They must find a way out before it's too late. The film's slow burn tension, striking cinematography, and themes of guilt and trauma make it a standout. Thanksgiving. Number 7. Eli Roth's Thanksgiving is a wild ride of a slasher film, blending dark humor with gruesome kills. The movie takes a familiar holiday and turns it on its head, with things going horribly wrong right from the start. Set in Plymouth, Massachusetts, it centers on a group of high school friends being hunted by a killer dressed in a creepy pilgrim costume known as John Carver. The film balances bloody mayhem with moments of twisted humor, making fun of holiday horror tropes along the way. If you're into over-the-top slashers and can handle some cheesy one-liners, this one's a solid pick for your next movie night. Gerald's Game.
Just have to remember. Back off!
Gerald's Game, based on Stephen King's novel, is one of the most popular horror thrillers on the platform. The story throws Jessie, played by Carla Gugino, into a nightmare when she's left handcuffed to a bed after her husband suddenly dies. Trapped in a remote cabin, she faces a terrifying battle for survival, fighting both her inner demons and real dangers around her.
Focus. You've been sleepwalking since you were 12 years old.
That's a beautiful dress.
He put you in those handcuffs way before Gerald did.
Gugino's performance is nothing short of powerful, bringing a raw intensity to Jessie's struggle. Directed by Mike Flanagan, this psychological thriller goes beyond typical horror, creating a haunting atmosphere that sticks with you. It's a must-watch. It Follows.
I don't know.
Just pass it along.
You believe me, right?
Nothing's gonna happen.
Number 5. It Follows brings a fresh twist to horror with a chilling premise, a curse that's passed through intimate encounters. Directed by David Robert Mitchell, the story centers on Jay, a high schooler played by Micah Monroe. After hooking up with a guy named Hugh, played by Jake Weary, Jay finds out she's been marked by a supernatural force, a relentless, invisible entity that only she can see. This thing follows her slowly, like a zombie, and won't stop until it kills her, unless she can pass the curse on to someone else through sex.
You don't believe me. Mom? No, it's me.
Set in the suburbs of Detroit, It Follows mixes classic horror vibes with a modern edge, keeping you on edge without relying on cheap jump scares. The film's tension builds steadily, with retro-style cinematography that adds to its eerie, unsettling feel. 1922.
I hope there is no God, because if there is no heaven.
1922 is a 2017 Netflix original horror film, adapted from Stephen King's novella In Full Dark, No Stars. It's set in Nebraska and follows a farmer named Wilfred James, played by Thomas Jane, who's living on a large farm with his wife, Arlette, and their teenage son, Henry. Arlette wants to sell the farm and move to the city, but Wilfred is dead set on staying. To stop her, Wilfred comes up with a twisted plan. He decides to kill Arlette and gets Henry involved in the plot.
You touched me!
The story unfolds mostly in flashbacks, as we watch Wilfred spiral into madness, weighed down by guilt and paranoia. The film's got some beautiful shots, and Thomas Jane delivers a strong performance, though it can feel a bit slow and heavy at times. But if you're into psychological thrillers, it's worth a watch. Veronica.
¿Tú también notaste algo?
Aquello de lo que no te despides se queda contigo.
Veronica is a horror film inspired by true events, directed by Paco Plaza, the guy behind some of the best found footage horror out there. Set in Madrid in 1991, it follows 15-year-old Veronica, who's basically raising her 3 younger siblings while their mom works long hours at a bar. But things take a dark twist when a Ouija board session with her friends goes horribly wrong.
Quiere hacernos daño.
After fainting at school, she's sent home, and that's when things start getting really weird. At first, it's just small, unsettling things, but it quickly spirals into a full-on nightmare with haunting visuals and some seriously effective scares. Scary stories to tell in the dark.
The jangling man is coming.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is the perfect horror flick to get into the Halloween spirit. Set in 1968 in Mill Valley, Pennsylvania, it follows a group of teens, led by Stella, who stumble upon a creepy, self-writing storybook in a haunted house. This book, once owned by a vengeful spirit named Sarah Bellows, starts writing terrifying stories based on each teen's worst fears. And the scariest part? The stories come true. One by one, they start disappearing, just like the book predicts.
We've got to stop it.
Directed by Andre Overdal and produced by Guillermo del Toro, this film nails that classic haunted house vibe with some serious nods to the 60s and unsettling visuals straight from Alvin Schwartz's Scary Stories books. It's a nostalgic yet spooky ride that's sure to keep horror fans entertained. His House.
Son. This is my house! This is my house!
His House is a horror movie that mixes supernatural elements with a tough, emotional story about immigration. Directed by Remy Weeks, it follows Bol and Reel, a Sudanese couple seeking asylum in the UK after fleeing violence. They're placed in a rundown house in a grim part of England, but things quickly get unsettling. Strange and terrifying events start to make them realize they're not alone. The film starts off grounded, focusing on their struggles with adjusting to a new culture and facing the harsh realities of being refugees, like dealing with racism. Sope Dirisu and Wunmi Mosaku give powerful performances, pulling you into their emotional journey.
There's no witch. What is that? Rats. Rats.
While the film shifts toward more creature-driven scares in the second half, it still hits hard, offering a haunting reflection on the cost of seeking safety and belonging. His House gives a fresh spin on the haunted house genre, blending fear with thought-provoking themes. If you enjoyed our picks for scariest movies on Netflix, give us a thumbs up. Want even more movie recommendations? Check out the video description for links to our other content. And don't forget to subscribe for more great videos.